Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today?
Hey, welcome to Rural Community Solutions, where we help you design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract people. And those people can be attracted to your business. It can be attracted to your community. It can be attracted to your family, organization, your church. But what we're talking about now is healthy people make healthy communities. And if you don't have healthy people, you don't have a healthy community. That's what we're going to be talking about today on Rural Community Solutions. So stay with us. We'll be right with you. Picture, if you will, the pure, raw prairie. No wires, no sign of civilization. This is what a person saw that was crossing the prairie and around and declared, "This is where I want to settle and build a town. A great place to live and a great place to raise my family." So they took a risk. They built a house made out of the land, planted food to eat, and cared for the land. Then back to their friends where they from, described opportunity and promise that they have found. They invited who they knew to join them in their discovery, people they had a relationship with, and so they came, family by family, and those families invited others they knew who they wanted to live with within that community. The communities grew because the needs of the families grew, so entrepreneurs started businesses to meet those community needs. Ice houses, broom factories, general stores, and many other types of sole proprietor entrepreneurial businesses started up within the community. All of our communities across this country, all around the world, were started in this way, with a vision of the future and a plan to grow with people. But today, in some of these small... So grow with people, and we're going to be growing with healthy people.
That's a really good idea. So for the rest of this month, it's always been our premise that healthy people make healthy communities. And we're going to tell you who else agrees with that and why this is so critically important for our community's health all the rest of this month. So join us through the 29th, and you'll learn all kinds of different ways that this is a true statement.
So if you've been following Rural Community Solutions, you know our premise that relationships and engagement, collaboration, and entrepreneurship are our four pillars to creating great communities. Because when you create great relationships and you have the process to where your community is engaged, you build trust. Trust is a huge health factor in your community. And when you have engagement and collaboration, in other words, when people work where they are skilled at and passionate about, and you combine those people and not compete against them, then you have collaboration. And when engagement and collaboration, you have great policy. Relationships with collaboration, you have unity. Unity and policy and trust equal wealth, and that builds wealth, and that is a healthy community thinking like an entrepreneur.
So what we're going to do is just jump right in, and we're going to talk about different ways that you can think about your community. And one of the ways is kind of a big, long introduction, but it's really, really important. Have you ever thought about your individual personal health making a difference in the rest of your community's life? Well, think about it this way. Our individual health is linked inextricably to every segment and every aspect of our community life. How well each of us cares for our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual health is brought to light throughout the community, and it's found all over the place. It's found in our schools, in our government, in our life expectancy, how long we actually get to live, in our healthcare costs, in our safety and or our crime in our communities, in our social justice and equity, in our finances. Our money is impacted by how well we actually are in all those aspects. Whether or not we vote, our motivation to volunteer, our happiness, and many more aspects. But that's a pretty big list that gives you just a great idea of how our individual health matters to our community. So if we want a healthy community, the place we need to start is by looking at that person we see in the mirror. That is where we need to start. And the people who agree with us on that, and this is just a super short list. I'm sure it's far more comprehensive than this, but other people who agree are the Rural Health Information Hub. Thomas Bognanno is president and CEO of Creating Healthier Communities. Healthy People 2020 is an initiative of the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion. The Centers for Disease Control, we're hearing a lot about them in health these days. Tulane University's School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, the World Health Organization, and the University of Nevada Lincy Institute. So that's just a smattering of people across the world who feel and recognize that healthy people make healthy communities. So on Monday, we introduced a great graphic. It looks like this. And for those of you on the podcast, we have this fun graphic called Your Brain and Gut, a love affair. So you've got a stomach holding the hand of a brain, and they're both smiling and happy. And the reason for that is because your brain and gut are absolutely connected. And it matters to your health in your brain how well we feed our gut.
And so how this happens, and we're just kind of in review here, because in your brain, the nutrition, did you just sneeze?
I did.
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to be quiet. That jerk. There may be another one coming. I usually do it in twos, so just be prepared. Sorry.
We don't have a sneeze button. It
don't.
just goes on one of us. We have to mute everybody, and so all of a sudden it goes. Anyway.
Pardon that head bob.
Well, we digress a little bit. It's healthy to sneeze, though.
It's healthy to laugh.
But it's nutrition for the mind as well as nutrition for the gut. Now, nutrition for the mind, and I'm going to be taking how people think. I'm going to be taking the mind portion of this, and Kim's going to be taking the food portion of this for the nutrition. But the mind portion of this is thought, word, and deed. It's your thoughts. What do you feed your mind on a minute-by-minute basis, not on a daily basis, but a minute-by-minute basis? What's hanging in your house? What's around you? Who do you listen to? What's on your TV? What's in your phone? What's on your podcast? What do you watch? What do you follow? Who do you read? That is all thought process that goes into your mind, and that is what you're feeding your mind. Your thought process then turns into words. Your thinking comes out your mouth. So it's your perception of how you view the world. You will give your opinion about things because of the way you think. And so that comes out of your mouth. And how this relates to your community is how you have your opinions of your community, and the collective conversation that you have in your community about your community creates the collective attitude. That creates the process. That creates your actions in your community, which actually gives you your community. So if you don't like your community, it's not the community's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It is your fault. You look in the mirror. You are the cause of everything that happens in your life.
Definitely, we all play a part in that. And that's why it's so important for us to feed ourselves good, healthy food and good, healthy thoughts. You may have heard the phrase community speak, and that could be encapsulating what Frank is describing, is that how we talk about our communities is an outcome of how we hear other people talk about our communities. So those are the thoughts and the words and the deeds that we are describing this month. And so if we want a healthy community, if we want a happy community, if we want a place where people want to move there because they sense the energy, they sense the positivity. They sense the good that takes place there. That's our individual responsibility for how the community is viewed as a whole. So that's how those thoughts, words, and deeds, that thoughts, actions, and deeds.
Thoughts, words, and deeds.
I did say it right first time. Yeah. Thoughts, words, and deeds come across, because people can pick that up. The energy of a home, the energy of a neighborhood, the energy of a community is palpable. People can actually sense if it's a happy place or not when they come to visit your community. So that's something for us all to be cognizant of when we are trying to project a welcoming attitude about our community. Are we really living that out? That's what we're going to continue to talk about.
So that's where I want to go today. Is I want you to ask yourself this question: how will this decision affect children? Because your decision, your thought process right now, and your words are affecting children, because it goes and builds the environment. And so we have this saying in rural community solutions that your environment is more important than your heredity. In other words, it's not who you were born into or what you have genetically transferred into your body from. We're going to show you how genetics are affected by your thoughts. We're going to show you how stress is affected by your thoughts, how stress affects your body. So it's just not food. We're going to set you up with how you think. Now, let me show you this, because a couple of years ago, AARP did a survey, and they came out with these results that 40% of Americans say they lie awake at night because of stress. Now, this was prior to COVID. So if we put COVID in there, I bet all of these percentages are going to be huge. They are going to be more than what this graphic shows you right here. 70% of all people are stressed out about work. And so $300 billion cost to businesses due to employee stress. $300 billion cost. Now, those of you that are worried about our budget, those of you that are worried about our budget deficit, it's not the fault of other people that our budget deficit is up. It is your thought process. A portion of that is your thought process, because you are costing the economy $300 billion because of the cost to businesses due to your stress. Now, that is time lost. That is your stress of, okay, I need a day off. I need a day to recover. Stress causes illness. Stress causes a whole host of illnesses within you. And so that also causes you to lose time from work. That causes the business to have to replace you. It causes the business to have to pay for the health care. It causes the business, because you are distracted because of the stress that is happening to you. You get hurt on the job. So that then increases workers' comp. That's a cost to the business. 76% of all boomers are worried about money. I'm sure that is about 76% of all Americans are now worried about money, if not everybody in the world is worried about money. Of where is that going to come from? Some people have thrived in businesses during COVID. Other people have been devastated by COVID. There is either they benefited or they really were hurt. That is a huge group of people. 52% of Americans are worried about their health. I bet everybody is worried about the health. I bet everybody is worried about, will I get COVID? If I do get COVID, what's going to happen? If I had COVID, can I get it again? There is so much uncertainty out into our environment that we don't know what's going to happen. We are going to talk to you about what happens with stress, what happens into your body with stress, because your event and your reaction to it causes stress. You can actually control your stress level on how you react to the event that goes on.
So one of the things that I do in the morning is, well, we both meditate, but one of the most recent meditations that I've come across is really powerful. And the basic thought around that one is just to go with the flow. When we try to fight what's happening in our lives, then it just produces stress because we're frustrated and we can't control something. So much is beyond our control. In fact, my mother says, you know, the older I get, the less control I realize I have. And that's very true. But the antidote to that is to just do your best, try to do as much as you possibly can to influence whatever the situation or the circumstance is that's happening in your life or your family's life. And when you have done everything that you possibly can, just take a breath and just relax and say, okay, I just have to go with the flow. And that's going to drop your blood pressure. It's going to drop your stress level. It's going to drop your mental angst. And so that's just one technique that you can use. If you're worried about something, just take a breath and just relax.
So right now I want everybody just to, if you're watching this, sit back. If you're listening to this, if you're in the car, keep your eyes open. Okay. You can still do this in the car. Meditation does not require you to close your eyes. You close your eyes just to kind of block out everything else in it. But you can do a walking meditation. You can do a sitting meditation. You can do a lying down meditation. Meditation does not require you to close your eyes. So take a breath. I mean, you breathe in through your nose. Breathe in through your nose from your gut, from your diaphragm. So you breathe in and count for about 5 seconds on the breath that you breathe in. Some of you might be easy on the 5 seconds. Some might not be on the 5 seconds. But generally, a 5 to 8 second breath in and a 5 to 8 second breath out. But when you breathe out through your mouth. Now, the visualization is breathing in the good, breathing out the negative. So you take a big, deep breath. And release. And if you do that 3 times in a row, very slowly, you calm your mind and you calm your body. Because when we set the environment, every idea, every thought that we have has a seed to that. Now, if I show you this, and on the podcast, I'm showing pictures of seeds. So in your mind, visualize a seed. Visualize any seed that you want, just a seed, and just visualize that. Now, do you know what kind of seed that is? Do you know what's on the inside? If you planted this seed right now, do you know what's going to grow? Probably not, because it's a pretty generic looking seed. And so this is what you are. This is your thought. This is how things begin. You don't know what's going to happen. It's the environment that creates the happening inside that seed. So if you need to have a controlled environment. Now, next week, we're going to be explaining about this tower garden. We're going to be explaining, but right now, this is a mechanism. This is something that we have in our house, actually. And we encourage schools and we help communities get these. And we're going to talk about this next week. But this tower garden provides an environment for seeds to grow. And so when you have a bad environment, this is what the tower garden looks like. This is a tower garden where we had it in front of a window without any lights, gave it water, gave it southern exposure in my office because that my office faces to the south and those windows. And so those of you on the podcast, we've got a healthy growth of some Swiss chard on top and really sick looking lettuce leaves down below. Okay. So you really do need to go to our YouTube page at Rural Community Solutions TV and look at this graphic, okay? But when you provide the correct environment, a healthy environment, then you get a healthy grow. And this is where we move the tower, we put lights on it. Now look at the same seeds and look at the growth on the tower that it is. When you provide a healthy environment for the mechanism there, you get good growth. All right. And so when you look at the seeds, that I just showed you, provided the environment, that's what it is. The Bib lettuce. Those lettuce seeds that I showed you earlier, when you provide the great environment, this is what happens. It grows to its potential. Sometimes it overgrows to its potential. And so when you provide the great environment, and the environment is on the outside, the environment begins with your thought process. When you look in the mirror and you provide that environment, then all things can happen. That's why you want to ask this question all the time in your community. How will this decision affect kids? Because kids, and we will get to this again, kids grow within your environment and absorb the environment as you create it. So this is an extremely important part. If you are growing a healthy community, it needs to start in your mind. A lot of healthy community activities out there are, can we do a walking school bus? How many exercise programs can we get going? Can we all get to the Y? How many memberships can we sell to the YMCA? Do we have walking trails within our community? Yes, that creates a healthy community. So does healthy food. But what is not normally included in building a healthy community is, how does our community perceive itself? How do our citizens think? How are our thoughts? And how do we put things into people's minds? How do we educate them to think positively about themselves and give them the tools that they can build a healthy mental attitude?
And the thing that is in addition to that is that it definitely starts with what we think, but it's also what we say. So how those thoughts are expressed in the community to our friends or our coffee group or our organization or our BNI, or however you express that in your worship community, in your with your coworkers, those words really do matter. And so what we're trying to get across is that how you think goes to what you say, and does what you say make a healthy community?
And so we revert back to this of, if we want a healthy community, we have to start with the person we see in the mirror. Your community will not be healthy unless you start the process. It begins with you. It's nobody else. Nothing changes out here until it changes inside. And so all this month, we're going to be talking about how to change it, how to change you in the mirror, and the steps you can take to become healthy, because it's not just eating healthy, it is thinking healthy. So join us every day at 11:30 a.m. Central Time right here on Rural Community Solutions TV live stream as we talk about healthy people make healthy communities. Grab some people, gather around. We're talking about local foods. We're talking about the healthy foods. We're talking about how to make your healthy gut, but also we're talking about how to reduce your stress level that will make you a healthier person. Rural Community Solutions TV live stream every day, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. You can go to Rural Community Solutions Facebook page or grab our podcast, Think Like an Entrepreneur, Become a Spark Plug, at anchor.fm/Frank Spillers. And you can catch every episode of Rural Community Solutions TV live stream on our podcast right after our show. So we hope you have a great day. Think healthy thoughts, eat healthy food, but become a healthy person. De-stress, go within yourself, take 3 deep breaths, and relax.
I'm Kim Spillers.
And I'm Frank Spillers.
We thank you so much for joining Rural Community Solutions TV, and we wish you a fabulous day making great, healthy choices.
Hey, stay safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.